Welcome to another marvelous episode of College Football Showdown. I am the governor of college football, and with me, as always, my co-pilot Jalen Wilson. Week 3 is in the books, Jalen, and we're about to get into some rapid fire around the nation. Let's get into it. Missouri defeats Boston College 27-21.
Missouri defense it's better than what I thought coming into the season. And Boston College is better than what I thought coming into the season.
Yes, I have a take. You might not agree with the take, but it's a take that I was going to mention. And I mentioned it to you. Well, I think that Illinois should be in the top 25. I don't believe Boston College should have been taken outside of the top 25. Now, I know people in the grand scheme of things isn't going to view Florida State as a top 25 win because they're on 3 and it's it's embarrassing. But at that time that Boston College defeated them, it was a top 25 game. This game was certainly a top 10 game for Boston College as well. And I thought they played well enough not to be placed out of the top 25, but they was placed out of the top 25 nonetheless. Alabama demolishes Wisconsin, as you predicted, Jalen, 42-10.
I mean, we knew this was coming. Wisconsin sucks. They struggled the first 2 games. They got blown out against Alabama. KT, I probably watched 2 plays from that game.
Did you?
Yes.
And
I watched the fumble and I think I watched a touchdown.
That's
I was like,
it's probably 2 more plays than I watched.
I was just like, do I really want to turn to this game? I got to flip between Peacock and the TV. I was like, oh, Alabama game might be good. Then I was like, it is Wisconsin. They suck. I was like, I'm watching 2 plays.
Right.
It is what it is.
Luke Fickell is a huge culture guy. He's somebody that I believe sets an amazing precedent as it pertains to building a culture.
It don't look like he got one.
It's an identity issue that I think more of a culture issue. You're taking a team that historically been able to recruit and been able to run the rock, and been able to play physically, and now we're trying to add spread elements to them. Things aren't going well.
Yeah, it's like Wisconsin's identity is built off of pro style offense, run heavy, classic Big Ten West offense. Ever since who was the coach before Beelan? Was it Alvarez?
Yeah.
Yeah, like ever since him, it's like it's kind of been that style of play. So
for sure,
you go through over 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken, of that style of play. Now you try to switch it up, but it just doesn't work out. So
yeah, it's not.
I'm not saying it can't in the future, but it's just not looking good even for the future.
I mean, you look at a mediocre year last year in Madison, and it looks to be possibly another mediocre year or so as a coach. In your second year, you have back-to-back years where expectations aren't met. What do? You fire your offensive coordinator, and you may go back to a more familiar style, and that may what has to happen where he go get a guy that can run a pro style offense, still have a couple of spread elements, but for the most part, they need to play Wisconsin football. Ole Miss defeats Wake Forest 40-6. I was really impressed with this one.
Yeah, I was too. Wake Forest missed on some opportunities to maybe we could kind of make it a game. Like it was 23-6. Wake Forest was like in the red zone, and Hank Bachmeier gets sacked. They pick up a flag, and then go from 23-6 to like 23-9. And where it could have been like 23-13. Now it's a 10-point game, and maybe Wake Forest they were going to stop and score. Ole Miss, not Ole Miss. Wake Forest had some strikeouts this game to where it's like you missed on some opportunity to kind of even make it a game, even though you probably wasn't going to win anyways. But
while I think week 3 of college football was phenomenal, the Zebras played a huge role in too many games this past week, and I'm not happy with their officiating. What a sport that's just so fantastic. I'm not happy with their officiating at all this past week. Kansas State defeat Arizona 31-7, and you remember when we were all filling out our credentials for the Big 12 media, we had to submit the packet, and it wasn't until after I submitted the packet where I had a change of heart.
It was like a couple of weeks
I
after,
was there.
right?
Yeah, yeah. It was a
It
few
was like
weeks.
a
It was
couple of days.
actually
It was like a couple
it
of
was
days
a
before the
couple days
season.
before the season start. I just suddenly had a change of heart. And this is after watching Kansas State play the first few weeks. And I'm like, yo, did I make a mistake and change my pick from Arizona to Kansas State? After watching this game, I was like, this is why I had that change of heart. You know, how great has DJ Giddens been all year? And I'm like, when are they kind of going to get Dylan Edwards going? He has a huge return in that Friday night game. It was a game I was credentialed for. But with my schedule, I was like, you know what, just makes more sense to stay in VA. And that's why I ended up going to Liberty on Saturday. So, what is your thoughts on that score?
Jeff, it seemed like maybe the biggest loss of Arizona this offseason. But potentially the biggest loss of the offseason for any team. Like the fact that your team has faced a drop off like it has, Arizona, is
Mhm.
terrible. Because remember they struggled week one. I don't remember
Mhm.
against who. They
Yeah, it
struggled
was a
last week against Northern Arizona
yeah.
or something
They
like
got some
that.
style points towards the end where it made the
Yeah.
score 61-39, but the real ones, no, they probably struggled a little bit more than they should have struggled. With I forgot the name of the team as well, but yeah,
Yeah. But
61.
week two is Northern Arizona. They struggled there too. I think
Yeah,
they won like
they did.
22-12. It
They
was
did. That
bad.
is accurate.
And then Kansas State versus Arizona, I was like, hey, maybe it's gonna be a good game after it's tied 7-7, 14-7, and never got closer. Yeah, this was a sad performance by Arizona, and Fafita low key looks not that good this season. So
He looks. I think he'll be fine in the long run. It's just if you remember last year when he came in after Delora got hurt, and he just looked so phenomenal. Even in a couple of losses, you're like, okay, this Fafita kid has a lot of talent, and I'm not sure everything isn't clicking. You know, of course, it's difficult to go into the Little Apple and get a win, but I wasn't happy with the team that I know with the players that they have on the offensive side of the ball to put up 7 points, and we just watched. You know, Tulane last week move the ball against this Kansas State defense. It's very confusing. It was extremely
yeah,
confusing.
who's Arizona's head? What's the Arizona's head coach name?
It's the
Um,
guy from
San Jose State.
yeah, San Jose State.
Uh,
Brennan, I can't think of his damn name.
yeah, he might have been the wrong hire. He might be a bad hire. And I remember checking. I'm like, yeah, he never really did any crazy thing at San Jose State. He just
Mm.
kind of made them a respectable team. Um,
Brent
maybe they kept,
Brennan. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I kept saying Brent, yeah, Brent Brennan. Yes.
yeah, like maybe they jumped the gun on that hire. It's only 3 games, but maybe they jumped the gun on
Yeah,
that hire.
we only 3 games, and it's still a team that I believe that can compete for this conference. But like I said, that change of heart, I felt a little bit better about that. Tennessee dominates Kent State 71-70. They have a game this upcoming weekend against Oklahoma. I believe it's in Norman. Uh, what I seen, everybody's just expecting like Tennessee fans. They got 2022 vibes all over again. Everybody talking about Tennessee by 50. Some of the
I mean,
early
they do like the
predictions.
best team in the SEC.
Yeah. So, yeah. So how you feeling about Tennessee right now?
Best team in the SEC.
You believe that?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
They've been putting up some points. I don't think they're the best team in SEC, but that- they've been good this year. I can't say that. Oklahoma defeats Tulane 34-19.
But you said what was it?
It was 34-19.
Uh, um, I struggle with Oklahoma.
I
They might
know.
get spoiled next week.
We both do, but I don't share that. I don't share that sentiment against Tennessee. I think it's gonna be closer than people anticipate. I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Notre Dame
The
defeats
offense.
Purdue 66-7. And when I saw this score, I'm like, who cares? That's how I feel about Notre Dame right now, bro. Like, it could have been anybody, bro. But like, seriously, who cares?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how I feel. Like, oh, you beat Purdue 66-7. I mean, maybe Purdue isn't as good as what I thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
Entering this week, and yeah, that might be true. But hey, Notre Dame. y'all still might be surprised, right?
Mm,
Shoot, I mean, Riley Leonard still can't throw the ball.
no,
Um,
no. And that was the sentiments that a lot of the guys in the chat that I'm in shared
like I
too.
think
Like,
he had like three rushing touchdowns. Like, oh, cool.
does he not
He
have
had,
a
like,
passing touchdown on the
I
season
think he had
yet?
one.
Oh, he does have one.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like one of those things. Like, okay. Like y'all lost to Northern Illinois. Like, whoop the F and do. CU Buffs defeat Colorado State 28-9, and another one in my opinion. Who cares? But
Yeah, who cares? But also, Shador didn't say anything wrong to the Colorado State quarterback after the game.
you said
People
he
made a
didn't
big
say
deal about it. Shador
he
didn't do
said
nothing.
he didn't say anything wrong.
No.
Okay. To me it wasn't what he said. Buddy talked trash. Shador talked trash back. Man stuck his hand out. He should have shook his hand. Now listen, if he's a cornerback, that's okay. If he's a wide receiver, that's okay. He's a quarterback. This guy doesn't conduct himself like great leaders do. How the hell with this mindset is he going to go into a locker room and lead men who've seen what this guy has done? It's well documented. Like, you know, the type of hazing this kid is going to get. His daddy's not going to be there to protect him, bro. Like, if you want to go in there and win over locker rooms, his conduct has to change. He can't be blaming his offensive lineman. He can't be blaming the play calling. He can't be blaming none of that. When you win, your teammates are the reason you won as a quarterback. When you lose, you are the fall guy. Those are the terms of the agreement. This is what you sign up for, right?
Yeah.
I do believe he has talent to play quarterback at the next level. I think he has an immense amount of talent.
I
But
mean, I
his
think he's been the
actions and
second
his
best. I mean, I
mindset
think as far as
is going to
draft
have
board,
to change.
he's been second best quarterback on the draft board.
If he can be a darling during the offseason, if teams believe that they can win with him, there's no reason why it shouldn't be the second, third, hell, maybe even the
Maybe
first
first.
quarterback. Maybe the first
It's
quarterback off the
between him
board.
and Cam Ward, really.
Yeah, just to me, based off of sheer talent, the kid has an immense amount of talent. You can't take that away from him. But he has to start conducting himself like a quarterback, bro. He just has to. He just has to.
But I still don't got a problem with what he did.
You still hey, and I feel you, like, bro. Talk.
Colorado State was talking crazy
Yeah,
they
was talking. They was talking like they were Oregon, like Dan letting them will be able to back it up. Could Shador do better in Chicago than what Caleb is doing right now?
Heck no. Chicago, where quarterbacks go to Dallas like Cleveland. Well, look at Deshaun by himself.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's too small of a sample size right now.
Also, Jay Cutler.
Yeah, it's too small of a sample size in Chicago right now. Yeah, they lost, but you know, grand scheme of things, they're 1-1.
Hey, I'm gonna say this: DJ Moore does not look happy the first 2 weeks. That man has been pouting. He's had bad body language. Just saying, he was advocating to keep Justin Fields this summer.
Was he? I mean, Justin Fields was getting him the ball. I mean, another player who has a reason to pout is Scary Terry. But if you go in games, you go in games, because Buddy not getting no touches this year for at least what I've seen. Now, I did watch a good portion of the Commanders game, but it's a learning curve. It's a stark learning curve. Some quarterbacks get it immediately. Some quarterbacks don't. But why my guy SC is in here? I did watch the O yesterday. I did see you not really give any credit to my guy Dylan Gabriel, and the Dylan Gabriel slander must stop, bro. It must stop. Damn. Florida loses to A&M 33-20.
Billy Napier, you're gone. Oh man, Billy Napier was the wrong hire. Yeah, Billy Napier, you're gone. Well wishes, I guess. You know, I'm not gonna say it was a good ride because it definitely wasn't, but yeah, he's gone. It's just a matter of time of when we get that notification of when he's fired. So
we'll see. Good win heading into the bye week. Yeah, no. One thing I will give you, SC, and the reason why I watch your show every episode is that you aren't a fan to the point that you are fanatic. You make fair observations. You watch the game and you be like, okay, like if we play the way we played in the second half, I'm cool with that. Like, you watch your team and you're very analytical and you will criticize them just as much as you praise them. So you do a great job. If you're an Oregon fan, please make sure you check out the articles that my boy SC do. He does an amazing job. Getting back to this Florida situation. So pretty much behind the scenes, I think Florida's approach has been very similar to what BC did last year. The boosters have made it very clear we have enough money to pay this punk out. Like they've made it extremely clear. Like it's not a money situation. We have the money. We don't need the people to pay. Let's get this bum out of here. So it's time for him to put up a shutout. Remember Jeff Hadley last year when BC
Yeah.
made it abundantly clear, like
Uh,
yo, if you don't win, we're not keeping you. And that's why he went to the NFL. But you
uh,
kind of see that with Bill O'Brien. It's kind of best that he's in those shoes. Go ahead. I know you got a great point to that.
no, I'm actually in the process of doing like a downfall Florida video, and I'm like going through
I'm
like all their
excited about
coaching
that.
hires and
Great,
everything.
SC, great point. And you and Nino were dead on with that.
What
And
he
and,
say?
and he was like, "How do you bench Lagway after an impressive start?" So I think SC and Nino both had this point that hey, if you're able to find yourself the 4 or 5 wins and you go with Lagway, you at least say, "Hey, I had a freshman quarterback." You buy yourself another year. But
I
for
don't think he's
Lagway to
buying
look
something another
impressive,
year.
no,
Even 4 or 5 weeks with Lagway is
yeah.
not buying. I honestly don't think it
No,
is.
no. I mean, if you look at the tradition of, and I had this discussion with Nino yesterday, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about it a little bit at 8:15 on Overreaction Monday. That you, even though the resources in Gainesville are plentiful, Florida is just one of those schools that you can go to and you can recruit. We've seen Billy Napier has been able to
Yeah,
recruit,
that's what.
but is it
Yeah,
is it the
actually,
coveted job that I would want? Like if I'm a Dan Lanning, I'm not leaving Eugene for that job. If I'm leaving
yeah,
Raleigh, I'm not even leaving LA for that job. Like, what
yeah.
coach will leave their current position and say, "Whoa, this is an instant upgrade," and I'm going to go there? Who will leave their job? Lane Kiffin
It
was
has
one of the
to.
name I heard. I was like, I can't
Yeah,
see
I'm
it, and
not
I can't
leaving.
see it at the same time. But
Yeah,
am
it's
I going to
like
leave
Florida is more
Oxford
prestigious than Ole Miss, but it's
for
not
sure?
like.
For sure, but
But
is
what
it
he built
coveted?
at Ole Miss, I would rather stay at Ole
Right,
Miss.
right. He's bought
Um,
himself time if he has a couple of bad years versus, you know, going to
yeah,
Gainesville and their expectations are here because they were able to win with Spurrier. They were able to win with Urban Meyer, and they're still chasing that high. And it's not happening, bro. We've seen them prematurely get rid of coaches too soon. And sometimes you go through years of pain by getting rid of a coach too soon. We said it with Nebraska. We're seeing it with Florida now. Is that the coveted job that people will want? And who right now in college football, let let's semi-establish, maybe at a group of 5 program, maybe at a lesser
you
power
think
4
there's somebody like
program.
Lance Leopold? I get he's
Lance
built
Leopold
something
could
at
probably be a
Kansas,
guy that will
but
take the job. But why would he leave Lawrence, Kansas? Even at 1 and 2 right now, he's not going nowhere, bro. That's a basketball school. He's not going nowhere, bro.
but
Versus going to Gainesville and in 2 years you have a mediocre record and they're gonna have a meeting and they're gonna kind of announce secretly that they had the meeting and let you know, hey, we got the money to buy you out right now. We don't need you, fool. You better win. That was a warning shot, bro. That was 100% a warning shot.
yeah, but like I feel like somebody like Lance Leopold would take it. Now I also feel like he would stay at Kansas, but
Mhm.
I feel like there would be some lure to attract him to Florida.
If I'm Florida, there's a coach in a Big 12 I would consider taking, and they're off to a good start this year. It's been a guy that we've been saying in the off season, not put up or shut up, but kind of put up or shut up this year. Iowa State, Matt Campbell.
Oh, Matt Campbell. I don't
That
think he's leaving. He's been at Iowa State for a minute
yeah,
now.
yeah, he's been there for a minute, but you start going down the list of coaches, and you're like, is going to Gainesville, what is the job security like? Because Gainesville, don't you feel like it's you know, when 10 or 9 games
Yeah,
in your first 2 or 3 seasons, and you may get a shot at the fourth. Like
yeah.
you almost feel that when you're going to Gainesville. Like I don't think it's the cover the spot. So Nino had to take that. He believes that Urban Meyer is the guy for the job. How would you feel about if Urban Meyer went back to Gainesville?
How old is Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer's a guy I think who looks younger for his age.
Yeah, he
So
does.
I believe he's in the 60s.
Cause I've never been a fan of hiring like crazy old coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that Urban Meyer wouldn't be able to adjust to today's college football. It's
Mhm.
just that I'd rather have a young coach than an old coach.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. So you're of the mindset you'd rather have a younger guy that offensive minded kind of as your head coach versus the antiquated method of having like an older school
I
coach,
would
because
actually rather
I
have
think
a
that's
defensive
dying in the
minded
sport.
head coach in college football.
You rather have a younger minded defensive head coach. I get it. SC had a great point. Confidence is big in football. When your head coach is not confident in your starting quarterback, you as a player, how can you be confident? I think that's a great point as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Florida loss, it's like it's coming. We all know what's coming. It's kind of like the Scott Frost watch back in 2022 when we all knew, okay, this thing is happening soon.
Scott Foster
But
got fired a year before that,
yeah,
actually.
today's game is about coaching and bringing energy on the sideline. I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
And you got to be able to deal with the all, like you really have no vacation time as a college football coach. You may get 8 years a year, 8 days a year in college football to have a legitimate vacation, but you're still working while you're on vacation. That's the sport is just so year round. Especially you think about, you can have a recruit, right? That signed, like USC was able to get some early recruits, but then flipping season comes and then the dynamic of everything changes. It's so hard to coach in this sport, and I'm not sure if I'm a guy and I got a pretty likable spot. I'm with a pretty likable team. If I view Gainesville now, you think about the greed, you do think about the money you will make, you do think about the resources are plentiful. Hey, if I can bring that team back, but I think it's risque though. I think that Miami was humbled so much where you would have an opportunity to kind of bring back the roar versus a Florida. They're not humbled at all. Like they acting like, you know what I'm saying, 2007 was just yesterday. That's the vibes that I get
Yeah,
from Florida.
2007 is 17 years
And
ago.
the fan base, bro. You do you remember last year where that fan base was on my head
No.
about saying that Billy Napier like can possibly get fired last year? They were on my head, bro. They were on my head last year. It's crazy. So let's get into some of these game recaps. I always like doing around the nation because we get a chance to talk about everybody. For those of y'all don't know, I was at Liberty versus the UTEP game this past week. And before we get into this segment, I'll give a couple of my takeaways from that game. Does Vandy, other than jump around, other than a couple of the end of the third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter rituals, does Liberty have one of the best rituals in all of college football? It's when they shut off all the lights in the stadium. Everybody got lighters up or their cell phone flashlights up. They're playing Journey, Don't Stop Believing. The players are just looking at the jumbotron, and it's old coaches who played there, old players who played there, giving motivational. Like it's just one of those things. Like you just kind of gotta be there. It's amazing. I wish I had a video queued up, but it's something that I think gets forgotten about. You know, we all think about the end of the third quarter, jump around. We think about that. I think Liberty Loki got one of the best like rituals for the end of the third quarter. You know, start of the fourth quarter, bro.
Hey, hey, did you see the report that like lots of Wisconsin fans stayed for jump around and they left right after? I was crying.
That's a I mean, because it's one of those things you take your kids, you know, and a kid who may not follow
Oh
the
no, it was a
sport
student section.
is a student. Wow, I feel sorry for those fans in Madison. Madison, we will be getting
Well, I
out
wanted
there
to
at
go to
some
second
point.
quarter.
We gotta drag Jalen out the crib. We're gonna have to go to Madison at some point this year. I hope things get better sooner before they get worse. But we had a dandy of a game in Columbia, South Carolina. LSU won a controversial game, 36-33. It was a huge controversy when defensive lineman Cal Kennard had a block against LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier to nullify the pick six that would have made the game the score of, what was it? It would have been like 39-29 at that time. Jalen, how do you feel overall about the game? And after the game, all I saw was South Carolina fans like, and these are people I respect, like, you know, Brad Crawfords of the world. Like they were just so pissed off by the play calling. I'm sorry, not by the play calling, but by that play. It was such a huge momentum play. I feel like it was a bang bang play. Me looking at it in retrospect, I think it had no impact on the pick six. Garrett Nussmeier wasn't going to make the tackle. Could the player have went without the hit? Absolutely, but you know, in the state of the game, you're just trying to make a play for your team. I don't think the penalty should have been called. How do you feel about that?
Like you said, I feel like it was a bang bang play.
Mm,
Although I'm more always on the side of not the ref than on the
right,
ref. Like
right, for sure.
I agree with the fans more than the ref, but
Mm,
like I can see both sides. Fans gonna do what they do though. Media
for
gonna do
sure.
what they do. They're not gonna agree with the call, and people gonna be like, "Oh yeah, well if we don't get that call." we win the game, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. I
Yeah,
mean, they had a big lead. Didn't they jump out to like 17-0? Like 17-0,
they
if I'm
did.
not
They had,
mistaken.
yeah, they did have. I'm not sure if it was 17-0, but they did have a lead in the beginning of the game. And it's crazy because you look at this game prior to the season starting and you think, okay, LSU should go in there and clean house. College game they did decide to go there instead of going a couple of other locations that they could have went. I do believe if that Arizona Kansas State game was on Saturday prior, you know what I'm saying? I think they might have been heading to the Little Apple over Columbia, South Carolina, but the fans showed out. It's just heartbreaking because South Carolina could have been 3-0 and won 2 games inside of the conference, and that could have been a huge boost in the arm. And a friend of the family, Brian Bosarge, a host of Garnett Roost, actually predicted South Carolina to win this game. And
Yeah, I
I
thought
know
South Carolina
Nino, yeah, yeah, and it's just heartbreaking. But so yeah, overall, what were your takeaways, bro?
South Carolina struggled at protecting the ball. They lost what, 2 fumbles? Fumbled 4 times. That's huge. You want to blame the
Mhm.
pick six, but you don't lose 2 fumbles, you might win the game.
For sure.
And you fumbled 4 times. If I'm not mistaken, they had a total of 3 turnovers. And look at this, it's like, man, ball security needs to be a point of emphasis going into next week and future
Mhm.
weeks for the Gamecocks. Um, Also, hey, Lenore Sellers is clearly the answer. He's clearly the quarterback for this team.
Mhm.
Um, Thought that was obvious before this game, but if it wasn't, it's definitely
I
obvious
think
after
for a
this
few
game.
people it wasn't, but of course, when you got another dynamic rusher of the ball, a guy that kind of always kind of seems to lose a quarterback competition. I'm really rooting for him because I'm a huge fan of Robbie Ashford. But yeah, I agree. If there were any doubts, do you think South Carolina could be one of those teams towards the end of the years is still kind of hanging around, like hanging on for dear life? You know how when you get to like week 11, week 12, there's a couple teams kind of outside looking in on college football playoff, or you think the best for them this season has already come?
I honestly don't know. Like I can see both sides. I
Mhm.
think it'll be more of a they won't be that team that's like on the
Mhm.
outside looking in. Like I
Mhm.
think they'll be that team that at one point during the season it was on the outside looking in, but
For
they
sure.
lost like a game or two later
Mhm.
on. Now it's like, oh yeah, remember that time South Carolina almost made the playoffs?
Right, right. You talk about it in retrospect, and it will give hope for next season. But we did see their athletic director is stepping down. We actually met one of their old SIDs. He actually works for the company that does all of the credentialing. But actually asked a great question. He said, "Is Raheem back to his old ways?" I'm not sure. The stock that I once had in Rocket Sanders has died, honestly, for me. And it's heartbreaking to see some of these running backs who had like great seasons and then have a down season and they just can't seem to be able to figure out. You feel like he's back?
No, not. I'm not.
Yeah.
Not because he's not good, just
Mhm.
because I don't know if not Arizona, freaking South Carolina. I'm not sure if South Carolina gives them like the full opportunity. Um,
I think that's a fair point. And we seen that
I don't
with
think they really utilize him. They weren't really utilizing him
mhm,
as good as they should have
mhm.
been before the LSU game. Um,
Do you think he looks at Arkansas situation and you see some of the success that Quentin Jackson is having this year, and like, yo, where was this at when I was there, dog? You know what I'm saying? Like,
he could be. I mean, you see
yeah,
him.
yeah,
He could be dwelling like man.
yeah,
Like
right.
I feel like
It's if there are two players in this sport that I would like to see them get back to like their true form, and their former Arkansas players. This is my guy KJ Jefferson, still completing 59% of his passes. And they had to fight to come back and win their game against TCU. And it's Rocker Sanders as well. I would love to see these guys get back to a form
uh,
they once were.
yeah. I guess some other takeaways is LSU seemed to find some success in the run game. Wasn't really a
Yes.
thing before that, but they seemed to
Mhm.
find some success in the run game. I think the
Got
leading rusher had 28 yards, which it don't sound good, but that was on
Mhm.
8 rushes. They had a 6-year senior, Josh, I forget his last time. It might have been Josh Williams. He had 19 yards, but they found some success in a run game that was kind of dormant
Mhm.
the first 2 weeks. Then, or at least after whatchamacallit went down, the running back name that got hurt week one against
Emery.
USC. Yeah, yeah, Emery.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Also, probably my last takeaway for LSU was like their defense still has holes. Their defense
Mhm.
still isn't good. Um,
Caden Durham had a really good game. Me and Nino are actually doing an episode of Debbie Darlings. He's a speedster. I think he can end up being a guy for them this upcoming year. He averaged 10 yards a carry in high school. He's averaging around 7 or 8 yards a carry this year. Some people would consider him a smaller back, but I think his size is a little bit deceiving because a lot of people here like 5'9", 205, and they instantly think Oregon. He got a little bit more size than people give him credit for. So I think LSU may have found a solution at running back.
I, I hope because of course that makes the game easier for Nussmeier,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially him being a
That
quarterback
kid,
that's
that
not
kid
really
has got
mobile.
it. And you know me, when people are hyping somebody up, I'm just looking for a reason. Like I don't want to believe the hype, but that kid's got it. You think
Yeah.
he could jump? He could jump in some of these draft boards, man, like
Oh,
that.
he
I think,
definitely could. I don't know what
yeah,
year he is. Is he junior?
yeah, he's a junior.
Oh yeah, he is. So he get into the draft after this season.
Because he stuck around when he could have left, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, the defense still has holes. Like still the same Brian Kelly defense at LSU that we've been knowing for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, d- d- I mean, Nichols had a good time against that defense. USC
Mm-hmm.
had a good time against the defense. Now South Carolina. That's 3 games in a row where I just see like, I ain't really seen crazy improvement.
Hey,
So
SC, I'm going to have a real candid conversation with you. Now, this is something that I feel like me and Jalen was on before everybody else. Like we was like, yo, LSU, like some of their players just get this ultimate hype. People was looking at us like we was crazy when we was just like, we don't understand the Harold Perkins Jr. hype.
I still
Like
don't understand it. I
I
never got
I
it.
I
He
I,
had
I
one good game.
right.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw I don't know what stat it was. I think it was like
Mm.
he only had like one multiple sack game,
I
something like
never
that.
understood. I've never understood the hype. Like I just always thought the hype was bigger than like like the way people talk about him on message boards. It's like things of folklore, bro. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that's that. But Jalen, great job with the takeaways from this game. We had another great game in the SEC, and which I didn't expect. You know, after South Carolina dominated the Wildcats the way they did,
I
31 to
didn't either.
6.
Nobody expected
But
this, Ketty.
no, like Kentucky gave UGA all that they have with Georgia on the win at 13 to 12. Carson Beck looked very pedestrian in this game, throwing for 160 yards. He was 15 for 19. Taylor, is there room for concern, or is this just the price of doing business in the SEC? What were your
Oh, I
biggest
think it's room
takeaways?
for
Because
concern. Like,
some people was like, is this guy Stetson Bennett? Like, can he truly lead this team? Like, you know me, bro. Like, I like to wait and see. I like to get to a group of games, enough of an eye test where I can make a sound judgment. But some people are just so quick to make judgments after one game, and that burns me the hell up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially like it just burns me up. But go ahead. I feel like you had a great take.
yeah, I think there's room for concern. And you asked about the takeaways. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my concerns are the takeaways, at least for Georgia. The line of scrimmage, they lost
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Like, and Kirby Smart said that in interviews after not after the game, but during the game, like during the halftime, and I think it was like third quarter. Like, basically, like, yeah, they're winning the line of scrimmage and we're losing it. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
their wide receivers still concern me.
Mm-hmm.
I always said that Kirby was trying to build Alabama,
And
like
it was a
early
concern of
Alabama.
yours heading into this year, and then with the loss of Ra Thomas, it
Yeah.
definitely left some room for concern. What
And you remember I
about?
had the thing. I was like, maybe they really want to keep him.
Mm,
If that Ra Thomas situation could have been swept under the rug, they would have kept
yeah,
him.
it
And
would have been,
if the
but that
media
was like
wasn't,
his second serious joint. So
yeah,
like, and the media was on their head. Like, I know we were on their
if the
head
media
too.
was not on their head,
Right.
then they keep Thomas. They
for
only
sure.
released him because he was on the head. I'm
Yeah.
being that's honestly what I think.
Hmm.
Um,
I think that's a fair point.
yeah. Because I think Kirby Smart and the rest of the coaching staff knew that hey, this wide receiver room isn't as talented as what we think.
Hmm.
It isn't as good as what we think. Um, and it doesn't surprise me. Like, I mean, Arian Smith is still, he just he's okay, I guess, but he's nobody. Like, he isn't somebody that's gonna wow you. And we might have made a mistake. I remember I
Hmm.
asked him, "Would you rather?" question
Hmm.
couple maybe months ago. It was about like Kirby Smart or Nick Saban. Yeah, my bad. I'm choosing Nick Saban 10 times out of 10,
Right.
twice on
Right.
a Tuesday. Uh, like, um,
That's hilarious, bro.
yeah, I'm sorry because the one thing about Nick Saban is, hey, even when Nick Saban was running on them run heavy offenses and everything in college
Hmm.
football, his early Alabama winning teams,
Hmm.
with like
Well,
Eddie
when we had
Lacy
Blake
and Mark
Sam's.
Ingram, yeah, Trent Richardson and all them, he still
Yeah.
had like Julio Jones. He still was able to get
Right.
Amari Cooper.
Hmm.
Like, he's
You
still
still had
able to get
playmakers on the
on
outside.
receivers.
Right.
Yeah. Kirby Smart has failed to do that.
Hmm.
Kirby Smart's secondary has like I never thought Kirby Smart's secondary has really been all that great throughout his Georgia
Hmm.
career. Um yeah,
And,
so like my takeaways would be that Carson Beck, hey, maybe he isn't the first quarterback taken off the
mhm.
board. Maybe he is in the first round pick. That's just the way it's looking right now. I'm gonna be honest,
Wow.
he hasn't really impressed me.
Yeah, and you're an eye test guy just like I am. We don't really we don't really watch a lot of what other people say. We kind of we'll see it, but it has no impact on our takes, and that's why I enjoy doing this show with you.
I'm definitely
I
taking
know that's it.
Shador, Cam Ward, and Quinn
Oh,
Ewers
for
over him
sure,
right now.
for sure, for sure. I agree with you there, and that's why it was confusing to me when we look at the inaugural episode of College Game Day this year when we were in Dublin, Ireland, and everybody's like, well, until somebody proves that they can beat Georgia, it's Georgia for me. And granted, they were impressive in that week one victory versus Clemson. It was also impressive week two. I forgot who they played, but
It
in
was
this
semi
game,
impressive against
you
Clemson. Remember, it was like 6-0
right.
at halftime,
Yeah,
if I'm not
yeah, it was
mistaken. So
it was. But I look at this team and I look at the other teams in the SEC and you look at the gap is being closed. I think between the who's who of that conference and who's been the who's who of that conference for a myriad of years now. I think that gap is closed. And I truly think the SEC is wide open. And that's why I believed coming into the season. And I know you were like, I don't get this old Miss crap you keep talking about. But like that's why I truly believed
I
Ole Miss
get
had
it.
a
I
chance.
get it.
Yeah,
I just don't trust Pete Golden.
yeah. And I know you get it from a talented perspective. Like if they had another defensive coordinator, you'd have probably
Yeah,
been right on board
if
with
they
me.
had Ryan Walters, if they had
Mhm.
2022 Ryan Walters on as DC, they're great. If they had Jim
Right,
Leonard as DC, oh
right,
yeah,
right, for sure, for sure.
like I get it. Like the old Miss
Mhm.
hype. Yeah, I feel like Tennessee can get Georgia.
Yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
like
I'm with you. I'm To me the measuring stick is going to be this Oklahoma game because we've seen Oklahoma kind of
we haven't
have a
really seen
Jekyll and
Tennessee
Hyde.
face teams this season.
No,
Like
so I'm
Tennessee
interested. But
they
if
had
they,
like
granted that they played an NC State team that I thought was pretty good, but if they
did
go
they
into the Norman and they beat the dog crap out of Oklahoma, I might have to give Jalen one of those. Man, I gotta change my picks, but I can't change my picks. They already submitted. You know what I'm saying? I'm already thrown by Florida State.
but I'm not big on Oklahoma that
Right.
much.
No,
Like
and
I've seen
neither
what I've
one of
seen
us
from
were.
Oklahoma. Like I've seen
Even
what I've seen from Oklahoma
even
in
when
the
it was
past.
kind of ranked high in the AP poll, I just didn't get it. I never understood the Jackson Arnold hype. I'm not gonna lie. I always thought that Nico was better. Speaking of that, we I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until we do the. You know what I want to talk about, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna
I know.
wait until we get. There's a time period that I wanted to bring it up exactly, but I'm gonna wait.
If,
I'm gonna wait until we get there.
if I had another takeaway or two more takeaways, Brock Vandergriff is
Mhm.
he should be questioned as a starting quarterback for Kentucky. Um,
Unfair. Yes, you're right. Unfortunately,
Also,
you're right.
yeah, even though they came close,
Mhm.
the lack of him being able to throw the ball
Mhm.
was the deciding factor because they got
For
in the red
sure.
zone many times and
Mhm.
couldn't convert because he couldn't throw the ball, and all they had to do was stop the run.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I see. No doubt.
um, and another thing is for Kentucky is Damn, what was my takeaway? Um, oh
You
yeah,
talk.
they I said about Brock Vandergriff. Is that
Mm.
like
Haven't they changed offensive coordinators for like the third year in a row now?
I think
Like
so.
at some point you're gonna have to look at the head coach and say like what are we doing? Because we went from who Rich Gangarello, then they got the other NFL guy who was there before who came back, and then I believe they changed the offensive coordinators again. At some point they're gonna have to figure something out because we seen them score what 6 point was it 6 points the week before
I
and
think it's
then
seven.
12 points. Yeah, so that's 9 points average over the last. This is college football, bro. You know what I'm saying? And you scored 9 points, and we're gonna definitely have to take a look at that. So let's move along, Jalen. Uh, you know things are looking pretty good in Champaign, man. You know you guys are in the top 25, number 24th team in the AP poll, first time in over 24 months. How you feeling about that? And just talk to me overall. How you feeling about this team and where you're at? Uh,
It feel good to be ranked.
mhm.
I really hope we can beat Nebraska. So when we go to Penn State, hopefully College Game Day can go to Illinois. Although it is in Penn State, actually, I don't think College Game Day has ever been to Champaign. Um,
Yeah, I remember that. I remember we were hoping that they went there week zero because I remember you were saying that when they played
mm,
Nebraska a few years ago, and they didn't go anywhere, did they? For week zero
no,
that year, but they
I
did
don't
go
think so.
somewhere for week zero this year, and I believe they were in Dublin last year as well for the Notre
Yeah.
Dame.
Actually, I remember last year,
Yeah.
Fox kickoff was supposed to be in Illinois, and
Mm-hmm.
then Illinois was kind of So as far as we barely beat Toledo, and then
Mm-hmm.
we lost to
Yo,
Kansas, and then Colorado
there's
was
the
having like
score
that really crazy
I,
start, and then
I
it was
didn't
Colorado.
mention, but how did Toledo beat Mississippi State in Starkville like that? Like when I
And
saw
see, I
that,
don't know. I looked at the score and I'm like, gosh, dang, what
I
happened?
thought it was an error. I'm like, no, it's the other way around. And yeah, that certain things like, and listen, I'm in love with this sport. I think everybody knows that we're in love with this sport. And sometimes you start rooting for fan bases or you'll find yourself rooting for teams, and then when things don't work out, just like well, Brock Vandergriff, like how things are going for him right now. But like Mississippi State after last year, I was just hoping like, okay, they got Jeff Lebby, huge Jeff Lebby fan, Blake Shapen, things just didn't go right for him in Waco. So I'm thinking, okay, that this could be the thing. But to see that Toledo went in Starkville and put hands and feet on them in Starkville, it was hard to see. But let's get back to Illinois. This moment is for Illinois. They right number 24th, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the city. I'm happy for the fans. Uh,
I'm
You
doing
guys got
something about the
Nebraska this week, right? How you
yeah,
feeling about
we do
that
on
overall?
Friday.
And Nebraska coming off a pretty decent game. So
I
how you
wish we
feeling
could
about
play
them?
Purdue. I wish we could play Northwestern or somebody
Mm-hmm.
like that. Why can't we play FCS?
And this game is in
On
Lincoln,
the
right? Or is it in Champaign?
it's in Lincoln because it was Champaign
Okay.
last year.
Yeah.
Um, right? I think it is in Lincoln. I'm confident it was in Champaign last year because I remember being at Friday Night SmackDown watching that game and watching Friday Night
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown at the same time. Uh, and I was by the pyro and I didn't want to hear the pyro
Mm-hmm.
because I hated that dang loud noise. Um, so I had my earbuds in trying to watch the game. But
Of course.
how I feel about this team, honestly, and feel about this game. Honestly, I'm scared of Nebraska, but I'm not scared of Nebraska. Like I think Dylan Raiola has been good,
Mm-hmm.
but he's
They
also
haven't
just been, I feel like, okay.
they haven't met a team that's gonna be as physical with him as you guys are gonna be. Y'all are gonna get really physical with him. Y'all gonna be able to apply pressure. I like you all in the game. I really do.
Honestly, I like Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Just being honest with you, from what I've seen from Illinois, list we've played good on defense.
Mm-hmm.
We need to stop the run. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't been able to stop the run. Kansas beat us if they just run the ball with Devin Neal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They just run the ball with Devin Neal 20 more times, they win.
You guys
Uh,
broke Kansas, man. Y'all broke them.
even seeing you had like some success running the ball against us. I'm not a big fan of
Nebraska
Lookout
definitely got a
Mike.
solid running game.
They do.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not.
I already knew that.
I'm not a big fan of Luke Otmar.
Mm,
Um, he just can't anticipate when a receiver is going to be open. Holy, a receiver has to. You have to not be cover KT for him to throw the ball to you.
Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got people like Tua. Tua has great anticipation, almost like Peyton Manning gets. But sometimes it gets him in trouble when a receiver runs a wrong route and it looks like he threw a bad interception. But he's just a supreme like anticipation thrower of the ball. And yeah, I feel you. I feel he
he
has to see you open. He has to
yeah
see
he
you
also
open.
lacks some cojones. Like sometimes you gotta let the thing fly. Like sometimes you gotta let the thing fly.
For sure.
You remember Paddock last year that he came in for Illinois. He almost got to his bowl game.
Mm,
The biggest difference between him and Luke Godmeyer is that Paddock sometimes he played like he just didn't care.
for
Um,
sure.
he also played like he was more experienced, but he also played like, hey, like I know this guy is about to run past his linebacker, and all I
Mm,
gotta do is throw it right now, and he should be good. Like I don't gotta wait till he's all the way past the linebacker. Um,
yeah.
like or like
So how well do
Paddock
you
could have
think he recognizes coverages? I
honestly
mean,
I don't know. He also stared down the receiver too much time,
does he? Does he?
too much. Like
How much this is on your offensive coordinator? Because you got into the last 15 seconds.
I don't
You
know
know,
because we looked good last year when Paddock
mhm,
started.
right, right,
And people are quick to always blame the offensive coordinator. Sometimes it can
mhm,
be the quarterback.
for sure.
And right now, I think it's more the quarterback than the offensive
Okay,
coordinator. I think Berluni has some problems, like when that man
mhm,
ran a freaking pitch play on like 3rd and 6. Why would you
mhm,
do that?
for sure.
Especially with your slowest running back,
Mhm,
6'3", 250. You want to run a pitch play, okay? Um, but like I look at it and I'm just like, yeah, we haven't been the best. It is some
mhm,
plays where like, okay, now we're running this Oregon FSU type offense where we want to throw the ball two
right,
yards behind the line of scrimmage and try to get some yards. Like we don't have them
mhm,
playmakers, buddy.
right,
But now we do got some good receivers, but we got some
for
more
sure.
receivers that can play down the field more than they can play behind the line of scrimmage.
Mhm,
Um, but like I look at them like I'm like we don't have an all 22 film. Like
mhm,
I don't see all 22 film on Illinois.
mhm.
But it's like Luke Godmeyer's just seems sometimes so hesitant to throw, and sometimes he has enough time, he just
I got a,
refuses to release
I got a
it,
site with all 22 fam. You gotta pay for it, but I got a site for you.
and I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, Bear Looney isn't the best.
Mhm,
He's not. He has some bad play calls, but I'm like, I
mhm.
think it's Luke Godmeyer holding his offense back more than it is Barry Looney. So,
Okay, I think that's a fair comparison. Uh, So in the
but we'd be able to beat Nebraska. So be I
mhm.
don't care.
I
If
mean,
we
if
got
you guys
field goals, I'll
are
take it.
able to, beat Nebraska, continue to move up, it should only bode well in getting, you live in a state with a plethora of talent. And I know you felt like before that Illinois struggled to get the guys at home.
We
Do you think
did.
that
Chris Burgers is one of the
mm,
guys that I
mm,
really feel like we should have got.
mm,
Forget
mm,
what he's committed to, but he plays for Simeon right now. Last year Marquise Lightfoot he committed to Miami,
mm,
um, from Chicago. I think was it Lightfoot didn't play for Simeon. I don't think. We have gotten better at getting talent in Illinois, but like we
mm,
got Malik Elsie, who's a 4-star from Simeon.
mm.
But if we're just able to get that big fish,
Right.
we haven't been able to get the big fish. Like Malik Elsie and Kane Fagan were
Mm,
big fishes, but they weren't
mm.
really. I'm not too high on Malik Elsie.
I think if
I
you
never thought
guys
his route
can,
running was all great. Caden Fagan was okay. He's been okay,
mm,
but he's only averaging 2.5 yards per carry.
mm.
Um, we haven't been able to get that big fish though. We haven't been able to get a Marquis Lightfoot, a Chris Burgers, um, for Luther Burden, East St. Louis. Um, we haven't been able to get that type of player to our
You
team.
have to be able to recruit in your region. A team that is kind of disappointing me so far this season, but they're doing okay. Virginia Tech, you look at their roster, you're going to see the DMV through and through.
Yeah.
You're going to see DC, Maryland, and then the truest form of the DMV, not the way that I understand the DMV, in the way what I'm saying, but in the truest form of DC,
Oh, them
Maryland,
lots
and
of B
Virginia.
more guys on there.
Yeah, they got some B more guys. They got my guy Dorian Strong from PG County as well. So
Um,
like and they've been able to recruit well.
Now,
So
now
you got to
it,
be able
it,
to recruit in your region. You have to be
it
able to do that.
is true sometimes, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
because
Because your
we're going
borders
up against
are is
Mizzou,
it Indiana and Mizzou? Who you
yeah,
borders?
Indiana, Mizzou, Michigan,
Okay.
Wisconsin, and Iowa.
So
Uh,
where are y'all pipelines? Who do you feel like you guys recruit? Get
Florida,
volunteer players from. That's not a bad pipeline.
yeah, Florida, Florida. Honestly, and I feel like the rest is kind of here and there. Like sometimes
Mhm,
Texas,
for
uh,
sure.
and Illinois. Like I feel like those
Mhm.
are the top three. But yeah, like East St. We don't got a we got a good relationship with East St. Louis, but we don't got the best relationship with East St. Louis.
You guys should be getting those kids.
But East St. Louis is more connected with Mizzou than they are Illinois.
As it should be. I'm not sure if your email's been
Because
blowing
lots
up
of
with
those
Big
kids
12
from
stuff
East St.
all
Louis
day,
do
but
come
mine
to Mizzou.
has.
They do be
Hmm.
recruited, but they
Hmm.
don't tell you that. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean it should be better. All righty. So shout out to Illinois, first time being ranked in the AP Top 25 poll in over 24 months. I think that's incredible. So Jalen, we're going to talk about this AP poll. Speaking of the AP poll, we're going to talk about this post week 3 AP poll. We're going to go 25-1 instead of 1-25 because
or did you
they're
not want to have? Wait, are you getting to that discussion, or are we not going to go to the other discussion about the quarterbacks?
we're going to get there. We're going to get there once we get to the team. So at 25, we got Texas A&M. 24, we got Illinois. 23, Northern Illinois. They moved up and they had a bye week this week. Incredible. 22, we got Nebraska. 21, we got Clemson. At 20, we got Iowa State. At 19, we got Louisville. 18, Michigan. 17, Notre Dame. Whoop-de-doo. 16, LSU. 15, Oklahoma. They'll be dropping after this week. 14, Oklahoma State. 13, Kansas. 12, Utah. So let's talk
Wait,
about these.
hold on. 13 Kansas State. You
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Kansas.
I said Kansas. Whoa.
Good.
Yeah,
I
13
was like
Kansas,
Kansas. I was
Kansas,
like
yeah,
Kansas.
13
Kansas
Kansas. Nah,
State.
they're not even sniffing the top 25. 13 Kansas State, 12 Utah. Let's talk about these first 13 teams I mentioned. How do you feel about this? I'm a huge fan, huge proprietor of, hey, let's be consistent in this poll. I don't like to see a lot of movement in the top 10. I don't like the way Oregon just moved because we saw a couple games where they look kind of pedestrian offensively. We know that this is a damn good team, and we knew that eventually they were going to figure it out. I don't like a lot of movement with polls. I never have. I never will. Like, I'm a wait and see type of guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, after, it's like the boy cried wolf, I believe, the first time. The second time, I try that third time come around, I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's talk about these first, these teams. Texas A&M, they got a big win in Florida. Does Texas A&M deserve to be in the top 25?
I guess.
I guess. I feel the same. I feel the same
Yeah.
way. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Illinois,
Like
I think it is deserving.
I don't know if Northern Illinois is deserving. I'm
I
being
don't think
honest.
I don't think Northern Illinois is deserving, and I guess we'll see. They did have a bye week last week. I think they play Buffalo this upcoming week, so we'll kind of see where they're at there. I think there's more deserving teams than Northern Illinois. Memphis may be more deserving. I think a Syracuse is more
I think
deserving.
Memphis is more deserving than Nebraska.
Yeah, I would agree with
Nebraska
you.
ain't got no key win for real.
Nah,
Colorado.
they gonna convert. They
Ooh.
gonna consider that Colorado because of the media hype. They're gonna consider that a huge win. But
That's not gonna
I
keep
think
me in.
Nebraska may
Keep
get
track.
punched. I think they may get punched in their mouth this upcoming weekend. So Clemson 21st team, I'm okay with that. I will be in the top 25. Iowa State being the top 25 team. About to do that again. I'm okay with that. Louisville being the top 25 team. I'm okay with that.
I put
So
Iowa State above Michigan. I put
Iowa State
Louisville above
above.
Michigan.
We put Louisville above. Yo, Louisville. I don't know what Jeff Brom and Brian Brom are doing, but whatever they're doing, it's working. And this Louisville team, I think, is going to be another good team in the ACC again. So, Michigan and Notre Dame, where are you at on there? They did release
I'm
news
putting Iowa
earlier
State
that
and
Alex
Louisville
Orton
above
will be.
Michigan and Notre Dame.
Yeah, like I don't
Like,
care. Like, hey, dog, like fans of South Bend are going to be so upset with me. I seen that score. I could care less. I don't care. I seen it against Texas A&M, even though they were able to win. But you lose to Northern Illinois. That game was in South Bend, wasn't it? Yeah, that
Yeah,
game was in
it
South
was.
Bend, and they lose to Notre Dame. Yo, I don't care. Yeah, I truly don't care about Notre Dame. Like, I love the brand. I love what Notre Dame has been able to do. How they've been able to establish themselves. Stop being scared and join the conference. That's all I ask Notre Dame. Stop being. You do play a tougher schedule every year because you get to play, top tier teams from a bunch of conferences. Stop being scared and join the conference. So I think me and you are in the same. Like, Michigan plays USC this year. This week. I think that's a big noon kickoff. So that's an early game. That's like a 9 a.m. game for SC. It's in the big house. Is that a measuring stick game for both of those teams for you? Where you kind of look at USC and say, okay, they can survive in the Big Ten, or you look at Michigan and be like, wow, this is gonna be a really good, they can figure it out, or it's gonna be a really bad year for them. That's how I'm looking at
Honestly,
this game. How are you looking at this game?
I've already seen measuring stick. I guess for Clemson,
What,
I
what,
never for LSU and Michigan.
mm,
I
mm.
for USC and Michigan.
I know what you meant. Yeah. And USC
At
play
least
LSU. So
for
I
right
might as well play.
now,
I know
maybe
what you mean.
Michigan is it might different measuring stick because they got Alex Orji starting now.
Right, right. It gives them a different dynamic.
Yeah, with Warren, I already knew the measuring stick was. It might be out the
Oh,
top 25.
yeah, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, he sucks. Um, but honestly, like it's like I don't think that Michigan USC game is like I don't think it's a measure stick for
It's
at
not.
least USC. Like honestly, if you're
But what
if
if
you're
SC
using
go in
it
there
as a
and lose
measuring
by
stick,
10?
you said what?
What if USC go in there and lose by 10?
I'll be
10
shocked.
plus. Hey,
Um,
plummeting SC. Yeah, Donovan
I
Edwards. I'm not sure
I
what's
would
going on, but I feel for him though.
I would honestly have to see the reason why.
Mm. Why they lost by
Like,
10 plus?
yeah,
So what
is
if
it
they
like
go in
oh the
there?
running back fumbled twice?
If they go in there and look Texas like and win by 14, 15 plus points?
It is
Like,
what it is. I mean, it's
is
Michigan.
it is what it is, and you want to see it against another team, but that will be two, top 25 teams that I see. Did we not get Lincoln Riley? Is just due? You know what I'm saying? Coming into the season, because I was like, they're gonna struggle, bro, unless they can win ugly games. And so far, they've shown the capabilities of being able to get down and dirty. Alrighty, LSU at 16. Where you at with LSU right now? What is your current temperature and mood for LSU? Because I don't know if LSU is like Texas for me, but I always like when it comes to LSU, other than when Burrow was there, I'm not believing the hype, bro. I just don't. And it's like that almost every year with me at LSU. Like when people are having LSU in their college football playoff, I'm like, I don't see it. Even if this kid Nussmeier turns out to be who everybody
Yeah,
think he's going to be, I just don't see it.
yeah, they're
But the
gonna be one
eye
of those.
test, and it's not just the South Carolina game. It was a USC. I've seen a couple of games this year. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, like they're gonna be one of them teams that has a good offense, but they can't stop a soul on defense, and it's gonna come
Mhm.
back and bite them.
But
They
isn't
also
this
can't
an
run the
indication
ball.
of
They can't
Brian
run the
Kelly?
ball.
And they can. But Caden Durham was able to have, he almost eclipsed the 100-yard mark. He did have, what was it? He did like 98 yards. He didn't get enough carries, in my opinion. So I think if they feed him, but yeah, where I stand with LSU is wait and see. I'm going to wait and see. I got to
Yeah,
see them get into their core, SEC games to kind of see where it's at. The South Carolina game, they were able to go to Columbia and get a win. That's all we're going to look at, looking back on this. And they did have a chance in the SEC against USC as well. But it's just where I'm at with LSU right now. I'm not buying any stock on LSU. I'm just not. I'm sorry. Oklahoma at 15. I think we kind of feel the same way about Oklahoma. That
yeah,
it's the name. It's the name. It's the fame. It's the brand. One of the highest grossing college football schools. Them in Texas are always at the top of the list every year. Oklahoma fan base is so loyal, bro. A good portion of our subscribers on this platform, a lot of them come from like Nebraska and Oklahoma. Like those two programs have I think some of the best support in the entire country. But like with Oklahoma, like I want them to have a really good game against Tennessee. I think this is a measure stick game for me for both of these programs. But what if Oklahoma finds a way to win and beat this juggernaut? Like, do we look at Oklahoma a little bit differently? How will we feel about Oklahoma if they're able to pull this game off? Because you got to think this game comes down a lot. Like, Nico and Jackson Arnold been hearing each other's name for a long time. They was part of the same class. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think both of these individuals are going to be hyped to put on a good show. But what if Oklahoma finds a way to win this game? What is your thoughts about Tennessee? What is your thought about Oklahoma? Does that change at all if Oklahoma finds a way to win this game?
I think for Tennessee, it depends on how they look. For Oklahoma, they
Mhm,
found a way to win the game. I give them props.
mhm.
Um,
I don't think they will, but
yeah, I don't think they will either. That's why I'm
we gotta be
struggling.
not biased and talk, in hypotheticals. Oklahoma State, I know you still feel the same about Oklahoma State. You're confident in their ability to win a Big 12, probably after what you've seen over these last few weeks. But I
Mhm.
think Big 12 and a docket I got earlier from the Big 12, I've seen something interesting. They have the best record versus, all other non-conference, non-Big 12 conferences. I think they have the best record against other conferences in the nation. So that was pretty cool to see. Kansas State, how you feeling about Kansas State so far this year? I've got a little bit of,
They've actually been more impressive than what I thought. So
yeah, they've been looking pretty good. There was a couple games there. I'm like, huh? I told you I was a little bit worried, but after what I saw the other day, I think they can win the game in all three phases. So I have a lot of stock, and it's crazy because we're talking about three Big 12 teams back to back to back. Utah, how you feeling about Utah? I'm not as high as on Utah as I was before the season started.
yeah, they had these good starts, then they slow down. I feel like their offense is fraudulent, but
Yeah,
we won't see that until later on. Um,
I think that's a great point.
but they look good. I'll say
Mhm,
that, but it's some flaws there where you're like, it's some not flaws, but some red flags there where you're like,
mhm.
this might be a problem when they play this team or that team or this team.
Right. Once you get in core play, because man, Big 12 games are just always close. They're just really close games. So let's get to the top 11 now. At number 11, USC. Number 10, Penn State. Number 9, Oregon. Number 8, the U. Number 7, Mizzou. Number 6, Tennessee. Number 5, Ole Miss. Number 4, Bama. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. And Texas is at number 1.
They
The
deserve
AP
it.
poll for the first time since what, 2008?
Honestly, I put Ohio State over Georgia.
You put Ohio State over Georgia. I would agree with that take as well. So how you feeling about the top 11? Any team that you deem is too high or too low?
Um, pull up the
Agree,
list
agree, Essie.
again.
Agree. Yeah, can't rise and can't catch a break.
Texas, Georgia, Bama. I think every team is perfectly placed, honestly.
Okay, so you think everybody's kind of appropriately placed.
Yeah.
So if
Maybe Tennessee.
how
Maybe I
you
put
feeling
Miami
about
over
the U?
Tennessee.
How you feeling about the U right now?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I put Miami over Tennessee, but and Mizzou. But I feel like most
Uh-huh.
teams are perfectly placed. Like I feel like okay, like I'm not
Uh-huh.
mad at them being at this spot.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, I'm not mad at like I do think Texas should be number one. I think Ohio State should be number two, and Georgia should be number three. Honestly, I wouldn't be mad putting Ole Miss and Bama above Georgia, but uh,
Said last week Miami should be placed above Oregon. Oregon. I see you did say Miami should be placed above them.
that's so funny considering that the head coach.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's
Uh,
that's that's hilarious, actually. So who does
uh,
Miami play this week? I think they got a date with Virginia Tech next week, if I'm not
mm,
mistaken.
Miami, the U.
So where you at with Miami? You like what you see so far?
I like what I see. I like what I
Okay.
see. Uh, although,
Hey, SC, don't be reading our minds. Oh, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Don't be reading our minds. We're gonna talk about that. He said you were still the starter, right?
yeah, I mean Miami hasn't really played comp, but
Mm,
they play South Florida
okay.
on Saturday.
Damn,
Don't
man.
know how that go.
Alex
If,
Golis and
if,
them, they didn't give themselves no grace for their non-con schedule, bro.
yeah.
Like,
Although I'm gonna laugh when Miami blows them out, and everybody like, oh, Miami should be ranked above Georgia. I mean
yeah,
Bama because
yeah.
of
Right.
because Bama barely beat South Florida and stuff.
Recency bias is certainly a real thing.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, I like Miami. Feel good about them.
Every year I see Cam Ward has looked better. So All right, let's speak about the elephant in the room, right? All right, so I don't I Pete says this a lot, and I think it's true. We are by no stretch of the imagination casuals. We started this thing a little bit before the new year, and we're now on episode 72. So all season don't exist. Me and Jalen been chopping at the bit. I mean, episode 72, we just started in December. It's crazy. We do 2 episodes every week. Uh, and I know, it wasn't against count, but I mean, Archman did look good. You know, he looked really good. Uh, I was surprised he had 20 miles per hour on a touchdown run. I didn't know the kid
Why?
was
He's
that
not.
fast.
He's a Manning, but he isn't Eli Payton's
Nah,
son. He's the
he's
wide
like his
receiver
grand.
son.
Yeah, he's like grandpa. Grandpa has some wheels too.
No, he's like the wide receiver. He's like Cooper. He's like his
Yeah,
dad. His dad
yeah,
wide receiver.
yeah. His dad was a wide receiver.
Actually, his dad would have went to college. I think
He
maybe Tennessee also if he didn't have
yeah,
that injury that like ended his
he
career or
looked
whatever.
really impressive. And then before the injury, Quinn Ewers in many people's mind was the front runner for the Heisman. So they have two great quarterbacks. Quinn Ewers, he's not coming back this week, right? It'll be next week.
I don't know.
I believe that's the case. Arch Manning will have another game. I got to see who Texas play this week, but Quinn Ewers, he's still the starter, right? As he said, I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. Is Quinn Ewers
So
still the starter?
why not? Why wouldn't he be? Like,
Hey, I'm
I
asking
mean,
for a
listen,
friend,
we
bro.
walk in the big house, we beat Michigan. We
Uh-huh.
make it to the college football playoffs last year.
For sure.
Like,
For sure.
we beat Bama last year. Like, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be the starter, outside of the fact that the Manning media cartel says, "Hey, we want this kid to be the starter.
Yeah,
You
they got
either
they
put him
got
the starter, or
UL
he won't."
Monroe this week, and then they play Mississippi State, then they play Oklahoma, Red River rivalry. So yeah, I'm just asking for a friend. He's yours is still undoubtedly the starter, right? But you remember, right, back in our college football kickoff days. Ironically, there's another show on Fox named College. Is it Fox? CBS named College Football Kickoff. Ironically, but back during college football kickoff days, we had the pleasure of you talking about Caleb Williams before the situation happens. And I'm arguing with you, like, how do they start him over? And this is literally a week before the Red River rivalry game, dog. You like fans are calling for Caleb Williams. The Caleb Williams game happens, and then like is that this severe? I mean, but Quinn Ewers is
It's
playing
not.
lights out, and
Yeah,
Spencer
Quinn
Rattler
Ewers
was
didn't play
not
like
playing.
Spencer
Even though
Rattler
Spencer Rattler's completion
struggling.
percentage was up, but you could tell he was playing not to blow that top pick in the NFL draft. Like he wasn't making like big
He was
time throws,
timid.
anything like that. He was so timid. He just didn't want to
Yeah.
lose that status as, hey, I'm gonna be the first quarter. So his completion percentage was high, but he was so afraid to make a mistake that year. And obviously Caleb was not. So you don't think it's that drastic, right?
No,
And I don't believe Quinn Ewers is playing this week, by the way.
Quinn Ewers. I don't. He probably he's just UL Monroe.
Yeah.
They're probably like, we can sit you.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit you and still win. But like, I look at Quinn Ewers. I'm like, bro, he walked into the Michigan's home field into the big house and led, and he helped Texas smoke Michigan.
Did phenomenally.
Like,
yes.
He before his injury, he had them ranked as the number 3 team in AP poll.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he led them to the college football playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see a reason to bench him.
Right.
I honestly don't. Outside of the like outside of the Manning media cartel saying, "Hey, we want our board to start." Like
the Manning media cartel. That's crazy.
like that's literally it. Like I don't see a reason why. It's like the Jake Fromm. Like you remember, like I hated when everybody was like, "Oh yeah, remember Georgia let this guy walk into Justin Fields." I'm like, well, I wouldn't start Justin Fields over Jake Fromm. Like Jake Fromm led you to the college football playoffs. He led you to a national championship.
Yeah, Fromm was legit.
Yeah, you lost a national championship, but
he was a 4-year starter too, wasn't
he? Yeah, he probably shouldn't have been a 4-year starter by the end of his career. But you look at like the first 2 years, okay, he led you to I think they won the SEC championship. Then after that, like they made the college football playoffs. They made the national championship game. They lost, but then the next year they make it back to the SEC championship game. I don't see a reason to bench Jake Fromm. It never made sense to me why people said that. Now, revisionist
Do
history,
you
said, "Oh, we should start Justin Fields," but
do you have a concern for his injury history? Because this has been a recurring thing.
it
This is
has.
30-year
It,
row. 30 in a
yeah,
row. He got injured against Alabama. Then he got injured. And what game was it before they played Kansas State where Malik Murphy had to start last year? That was a game he
was
got
it against
injured
like
in last year.
BYU? Was it against BYU? Is that who?
Yeah, yeah. It was against BYU. He got injured and he got injured again this year. So what are your concerns? I wish Boomer was in here. He said, "Oh boy, he an Oklahoma fan through and through." Boomer, you still in here? Why you say that, bro? I know Boomer is pissed off. He Oklahoma through and through.
Yeah,
But he bleeds sooner.
it could be a concern, but I mean,
Uh-huh.
if I play, be like, hey, it's one injury per year.
Right, right,
He's suffering it.
right,
So,
right, right. It's
uh,
automatic.
yeah,
Because you
yeah. I mean, I
remember
think
he was supposed to go to Columbus and push CJ Stroud. A lot of people
he
try not
was
to
in
remember that.
Columbus.
Yeah, he was
He
supposed to
wasn't
go there
supposed to.
and
He
push
was in
CJ.
Columbus, and he
Yeah,
transferred
yeah,
out.
yeah. Now, I mean, he was like supposed to go there and push CJ Stroud.
Oh yeah, he was.
Allegedly, he's supposed to go there and do that, but and that didn't happen. But I do feel for Quinn Ewers. I hate to see great players get injured. It's a sport with 100% injury, so it happened. The safe play for Texas is to let Ewers sit, but that don't mean that the Madden media cartel is going anywhere this week because he's gonna put up some more numbers this week, bro. And he's gonna make more wild plays this week, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm
And then,
excited for the people to
and
pull
then
up.
I gotta see a clip of on my YouTube recommended talking about first take talking about so Arch Manning or Quinn Ewers be the starter. It's gonna be Stephen A. Smith who watched one
10
game
minutes
of
of a
Quinn
game.
Ewers and 2 games of Arch Manning. Like
They kill me when they talk about
talking
college
about this
football, bro.
brother. This brother can ball. He flat out has it. He's different from any
What
other
what
Manning in
what
the family.
what is it? What is it? He said, "Shout out to Ryan Wiggles." What is it, Stephen A. Smith? Please let us hear it, man. Jalen, this has been a fun episode. My favorite episodes are always more the conversational pieces, more than a script. We keep the script here just to kind of get back to where we need to go. But for the most part, a lot of this is just all in memory. So like I said, I love this conversation. There was another Lincoln and Raleigh conversation we had. I think that'll probably always be my favorite episode that we've done. But I love this. I think we are due for another conversational piece because there's a lot of like topics that we need to talk about that we haven't been able to talk about because we've been recapping games, previewing games. So I'm gonna try to find a topic for us to talk about for Thursday. Of course, we're going to preview games on Thursday. We always preview games on Thursday, but make sure you guys are here. Jalen, go ahead and hit some shout outs before I close this up.
Who should I shout out? I want to shout out myself because that seems selfish.
Shout out yourself, bro. What you got going on your channel, bro?
Oh, I was about to drop a downfall of Florida football program. I'm trying to drop
They
it on
gonna cut. They
Thursday
gonna
or
cut you out
Friday.
in your comments. I should have bookmarked that comment, that Billy Napier comment, but I am going to go find it. I'm going to spend about an hour looking for it, and when I find it,
Do
I'm going to put a bunch of
you?
laughing emojis, bro. I promise you, I'm going to find it and put a bunch of. They were
That's all
on
you
my
gotta do is go
head,
to your.
bro.
That's all you gotta do is go to your page, and then
Mm,
on your page it should be like a search bar. You should be able to search
yeah.
your tweets.
Okay.
Like by where, like if you got a
Right.
tweet that says Napier,
Mm,
if you go to your Twitter page and it's a search bar at the top,
uh-huh.
just type in Napier and then show every tweet you got that has the word Napier in it.
Man, I'm telling you, young. Like
Then you could go
I'm
to replies to that tweet and
right.
see the replies.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't. It had a lot of traction because it was on somebody else's page. And a lot of times I'm on my business on Twitter. Like Twitter's like just one of those platforms I get sick of so easily. And I didn't used to get sick of it, but I get sick of it from time to time. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that's doing their thing on the brand. Shout out to the brand. We're approaching 20K on YouTube. We might be at 20K on IG. Um, yeah, we're working on a lot of things behind the scenes. You guys are honestly, I can't announce it yet. Y'all see the birth of
honestly,
something real soon.
I honestly can't tell you this downfall of Florida video actually got me thinking like I can make a lot of these like that Nebraska video I should be making a lot quicker now
Mhm.
and everything like
Yeah.
it's although it's I don't know for Nebraska and Florida the two different things. In Florida I'm starting the Steve Spurrier era.
Hmm.
Uh, Nebraska I've been starting 1800s. So
Yeah, that'd be funny. I would love to see that video, man. You do a great job. Yeah, the art of storytelling is a lost art, and you do a phenomenal job with telling stories. As I always like to say, there are no more victories in a sport that survive in advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, you guys don't touch that dial. Y'all go eat y'all dinner or whatever. But at 8:15, me and Nino are on deck with Overreaction Monday. You all take care. Be blessed. One.